Today we have new material. The new material is for a deeper dive in the Balanced Body series. Balanced Body is making this education series available for free to Pilates teachers worldwide, because now's the right time. Now's the very right time to support our community and to support all the dedication that you as career instructors are giving to this field. This is an unusual time, and it's so important that we upgrade our intention, our embodiment, and our capabilities so that we can be effective movement educators. Because now more than ever, the world needs you, and the world needs you to fulfill your life purpose in movement as teaching movement. Because now we're communicating with each other, not by touch, not in person, but we're communicating with each other through the virtual environment, the brilliance of online technology, and we must rise to the occasion. So today's series is about embodiment and communication in online teaching movement in the online environment. Now that I've cried for you to start, I'll just set some guidelines. We will go until 10 minutes to the hour, and the last 5 minutes, I'll be happy to answer your questions. So as we go, please put your questions into the Q&A icon, and we'll be happy to select some of those. If there are more questions than I can answer in this time, here's some very good news. Balanced Body has established a private Facebook group, and I can't wait to stay in contact with you, in communication with you in the weeks between our Deeper Dive series. So if I don't answer your question today, of course, I'll be able to answer you in our private Facebook post. And wait, there's more. I'm also going to give you homework assignments. So for your homework, if you need help with your homework, just ask me in the Facebook group. And I would love to see what you post showing your homework series. Now, and there's even more before we start to move, even more. Balanced Body also has a gratis program called Exercise at Home, in which leading instructors from all over the world are producing content just for you in these times. Today, after we finish this webinar, I'll be recording, filming, videoing for you some exercise at home material. And that exercise at home material will go in conjunction with the curriculum in the Deep Dive series. So don't worry, Pilates instructors worldwide, we've got you covered. And virtual hug, we're all in this together. Now, we are going to appreciate that the eyes are the advanced team of the spine. Have you noticed when you're spending more time online, have you noticed that you're leaning in to get closer to the screen? And then there goes the neighborhood. The eyes go forward, the head goes forward, the cervical spine goes forward, and then the thoracic spine goes forward into thoracic flexion. Now, not only is this not a good look, but it's not good for your nervous system either. Many of us, me included, we forget that when we go forward to look at the device, when we go forward to look at the screen, and then somebody else needs our attention, we go, "What? Are you talking to me?" And then we're stuck in upper thoracic flexion. So, in order to get your heart forward and your brain on top of your heart, rather than your heart back and your brain forward of your heart. In order to get your heart forward and your brain on top of your heart, we're going to do the following eye rejuvenation actions. Rub your palms together, warm up your palms, place one palm on your sternum, your chest bone, place the other palm on your throat. Now, it'll be all right. I'm going to stay here and we're all going to close our eyes. I won't leave. I'll be with you. Just close your eyes. With your eyes closed, relax your tongue to the floor of your mouth. Your tongue is heavy to the floor of your mouth. Imagine a deep, empty space behind your eyes. A deep space behind your eyes so your eyes can relax in your eye sockets. Here's your first homework assignment. At least once an hour, practice this. Palm on your sternum, palm on your throat, tongue relaxed at the floor of your mouth, eyes closed, and eyes resting in the deep, empty space behind your eyes. Now, rest your palms down on your thighs or in your lap, and gradually, gently, slowly open your eyes. Since the muscles, the tissues that move your eyes are related to the muscles, the tissues that move your neck in your skull. And soon we'll have a slide for that. In the meantime, I'm going to show on the skeleton what I'm speaking about. Now, Nora has graciously accessorized the skeleton so that we're a match. The tissues, the muscles, and the suboccipital area, this area is neurologically linked to the 6 muscles, the pairs of muscles that are responsible for moving your eyes in space. So, when it's time to address cervical rotation and eye movements, you'll be able to do this easily and well because of the organization of your neuromyofascial system. Now, we're going to go with these movements of the eyes. With your tongue resting at the floor of your mouth, move your eyes, both eyes open to the left corner of your eye sockets, and then move your eyes to the right corner of your eye sockets. Keep your heart lifted and the brain above your heart. Head doesn't turn, only the eyes move from side to side. Now, move your eyes up underneath your eyebrows and move your eyes down as if to see behind the cheekbones of your face. You know, since this material is so fascinating in terms of movement, it's not possible in the time we have to go into much depth with the slides. So I assure you that I'll post my slides in our Facebook, our private Facebook chat, and then you'll be able to have more background on how the suboccipital area and the muscles of the eyes are neurologically linked. So you have your gaze gliding side to side. And then you have your gaze gliding up underneath your eyebrows and down behind the cheekbones of your face. Now glide up and to the left and down and to the right. Up left, down right. Up right, down left. Up right, down left. Circle, a smooth circle all the way around in each direction. Brace yourself. Here come the figure 8s. Up and over, Figure eights with your eyes and figure eights in the other direction. Now, perhaps you noticed, you felt a fair amount of activity, twitching or action in the suboccipital area. This is, you're not alone. This is part of the human condition. It's the way that we're wired. Now, because the muscles that move the eyes and the muscles that move the suboccipital area are neurologically linked. Here's how this capability of ours can get us into trouble when we're involved in screen-based communication. When you're on the screen, your neck has to be, look at me leaning into you, your neck has to be very, very, very steady because you're peering intently at the person, you, on the other side of the screen. And then your eyes limit their ability to look just at one spot. So what happens is that the cervical area, the cervical spine, and the eyes, they get locked in together in a very small area. Let's unlock them now. Both eyes open. As you inhale, glide your eyes to the left corner of your eye sockets and have your eyes lead you up and around to the left. Exhale, center. As you inhale, your eyes glide to the right corner of your eye sockets and lead you up and around to the right. Exhale, center. One more each way. Eyes glide up and to the left. Inhaling. Exhale, center. And keeping your brain on top of your heart, not in front of it. Inhaling, eyes glide up and to the right. Exhale, center. Now close your left eye. Only your right eye is open. If it's not convenient for you to close your left eye with your eyelid muscles, then cover your left eye with your left hand. Now your right eye will lead you around to the left. And you will notice, she said, leading the witness, that your cervical rotation increases because the neurological connection of your right eye to your suboccipital area, that is encouraging cervical rotation. Exhale, center. Now close your right eye, and it's your left eye that leads you up and around to your right. You see, the left eye has to cross the midline in order to see to the right, and that encourages more rotation to the right. So if you're home alone with your screen and your clients on the screen and you're feeling a little stuck, lift your heart in front of your brain, close one eye, and use the other open eye to lead you around. But wait, there's more. You can also use your tongue to help steady yourself so that you have more steadiness in the shoulder girdle area and more rotation in the cervical spine. When you close your left eye and your right eye is open, press your tongue down to the inside of your right cheek, on the outside of your teeth, the inside of your cheek, which you can do, and no one's looking at you, but you will notice that it's not very attractive and neither does it sound very good. However, when you keep your tongue here and your eye leads you around, you'll notice that your pelvis and your lower thoracic area will stay home on the right side while your cervical spine and upper thoracic spine rotates. Now the other side, press your tongue into your cheek on the outside of your teeth on the left side. There's a coordination problem. You close the right eye and the left side is up and around. Exhale, center. Second homework assignment. Try this on your own, standing. Either standing on the floor or knock yourself out. Stand on a rotator disc or stand on a slant board. Stand on an unstable surface. Now, let's put these movements of the eyes and the tongue to work on the mat. I'm going to climb off the ball now and adjust the screen so that you can see me on the mat. Please come to your mat and place the soles of your toes against the wall. So here you are on your front with the soles of your toes, the balls of your feet pressing into the wall. Your ankles are in plantar flexion. Place one palm on top of the other. Let's just say your right hand is on top of your left hand and the middle of your forehead is touching, the third eye of your forehead would be touching the knuckle, the large knuckle of your middle finger. As you inhale, push your left foot into the wall and slide your forehead along the back of your arm as if your right ear could listen to your right elbow. And your right elbow lifts as if to say, right this way. Now, don't turn to smell your elbow and don't listen to your shoulder. This is a lateral translation of your upper thoracic, cervical spine, and head. Pressing with the sole of your right toes into the wall, lift your left leg up in hip extension, and as you inhale, slide your forehead along the back of your arm, lifting your left elbow. Exhale, center. Push with the sole of your left foot. Glide your forehead to the right. Right elbow lifts and center. Inhale, push the sole of your right toes into the floor, gliding left and center. You might ask yourself, why am I nose down on the carpet or on the mat doing this? Because lateral translation of the upper thoracic area in conjunction with the cervical spine and the head, the lateral translation is a preparation for extension and also a preparation for rotation and side bending. Here we go. You're prepared. Inhale. As you exhale, push the sole of your toes, the balls of your feet into the wall and hover your elbows. Eyes up underneath your eyebrows. Tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth, behind your upper teeth. Inhale, push your toes further into the wall. Now, as you exhale, press your tongue into your lower lip. Lower your eyes to look behind the cheekbones of your face, whoop, and you will come plummeting to earth. Because the tip of the tongue to the roof of your mouth behind your upper teeth, that facilitates spine extension. The eyes up underneath your eyebrows facilitates spine extension. When you teach your Pilates mat exercises online to your classes and your clients, use these cues. Your clients will be amazed. Tongue up, eyes up, gaze up, chest bone up, heart up. This is news you can use in order to facilitate your swan dive, swan 1, 2, 3, all of your spine extension. There's more. Inhale to prepare. As you exhale, hover your elbows. Tongue up, eyes up, gaze up. Inhale, chest bone up. Now, press your tongue to the right cheek and move your eyes. Move your eyes to the right side of your eye sockets and press your tongue to the left. Push your left foot into the wall. Eyes lead you to the right in side bending. Press the sole of your right toes into the wall. Tongue down to the right. Eyes lead you to the left. Left toes into the wall, tongue left, eyes right. Right toes into the wall, tongue right, eyes left. You will note that that's extension with lateral flexion, side bending. Now we're going to add rotation, and then you will pry yourself up off the floor and we'll be in quadruped. Stay with me now, we're almost done. Third eye, center of your forehead, in contact with the knuckle of your right hand. What a good idea to put the other hand on top now. Equal opportunity, because everything makes a difference. It's a matter of to whom and how much. Inhale to prepare, pushing your toes into the wall. As you exhale, collarbones wide, lift your elbows. Tongue up, eyes up, gaze up. Now, tongue goes down to the left. Left toes into the wall. Move your eyes up to the ceiling, eyes following your elbow towards the ceiling. Exhale, center, tongue to the right, eyes up and to the left. So it's extension and rotation. Tongue down, eyes down, poof, and the air comes out of your sails of spine extension. Now, I know that was actually a lot of load, a lot of requirement on your thoracic extensors, but you know, it's time well spent, because when in your day, in your productive day of online communication, when do you have the opportunity to address the lifting of your heart with the strength of your upper thoracic extensors? Now, we're going to go with the side to the wall, and before that, I'm just going to check to see. Oh, look at us making fabulous time. Okay, now place the sole of your foot against the wall so that you have your big toe, the side of your big toe on the floor, and the side of your little toe on the wall. Palms wide, fingers spread, arms, hands in line with your shoulders. So you're creating a fairly neutral pelvis, neutral spine. It's not really quadruped. I don't know, you could make up a name for it, what you want to call it here. But the reason this is beneficial is that, or the reason it's going to be useful for us, is that the pelvis is balanced on, is seated on the femur heads. And when the supporting femur is vertical, that's a different arrangement than the leg that's outstretched. And this will have profound effects on your thoracic rotation. Let's find out what they might be. As you inhale, press the hand that's away from the wall into the ground. Push into the little finger side of the heel of the hand, because that will connect your hand with your arm, with the lateral aspect of your scapula. As you inhale, turn pelvis, ribs, shoulders, neck, head, and eyes. The eyes are leading towards the ceiling, and this is thoracic rotation. But not only thoracic rotation, the thorax and the pelvis are turning. Everything is turning in the same direction at the same time. As you exhale, bend both knees, aim your sitting bones up and wide behind you, and thread the needle. It's as if your wall lung could travel out past your hand, and your ear listens towards the ground. As you inhale, here's your one arm push-up, and now you have the longest distance, a huge wingspan from the palm of your hand to your fingers towards the ceiling. And one of the points we promised you in this webinar, in this opening deep dive webinar, is that you would have an opportunity to connect your heart with your arms and your hands. As you exhale, here goes the lung. The wall lung is turning away from the wall. The heart is cradled by the lungs, and you have thoracic rotation away from the wall. Now, the other arm is a whole different experience, particularly for me, but even those of you without shoulder injuries are going to have some awarenesses in a moment here. Okay, press the palm, the wall palm into the floor. As you inhale, turn your wall lung away from the wall. Like, oh, this is different. Why is that? It's because the pelvis is blocked from rotating away from the wall. This particular femur is keeping the pelvis more anchored towards the ground. And so who are you going to call? Well, you can just coax a little more thoracic rotation. How can we do that? Inhale, push the little finger side of your hand into the floor. And the inhalation can encourage your chest bone, your sternum, to turn away from the wall. As you exhale, bend both knees. Aim your sitting bones up and wide behind you. Your ear listens to the ground and push up. Now, I understand this is an unusual cue. Aim your sitting bones up and wide behind you. Why would anybody do that? Because, now, don't get nervous. I'm not going to moon the camera, but because, you see, when you aim your sitting bones up and back and wide and focus on the seating the femoral head into the acetabulum, when that's the case, it's a welcome relief for the posterior pelvic floor that's been sitting in probably not fantastic mechanics, a posterior pelvic floor and spine flexion as we're moored to the keyboard. So liberate your pelvis, liberate your hip joint. As you bend your knees and bend your elbows, aim your sitting bones up and wide behind you to spread the posterior pelvic floor. It's okay. You have a lot of elasticity in the posterior pelvic floor tissue, so it won't stay spread. It'll snap back. All right, where were we now? I was just putting off the inevitable because this is really difficult. We've already done turning away from the wall and spreading the sitting bones, turning towards the wall. Now, as you inhale, turn like, oh goodness, but at any rate, turn away from the wall. And this is intended to be thoracic rotation. And then you come back. So there you have it, some moves you can use for connecting your palms, your arms with your shoulder girdle, your heart, your thorax. Let's use some of these rotational options to challenge further the integration of the entire neuromyofascial sling system, and realize that we've chosen these moves of fascia-focused mat exercises because they don't require any props. And we would like all of you to be able to use this in your teaching and in your home practice. All you need is a mat and a wall. The wall is useful because of the closed chain, no problem, of the closed chain opportunity. The neuromyofascial system with its proprioceptive sensitivities is much more awake, much more alert when there's a firm, stable surface into which to press. So yes, of course, if you're teaching a large group class, and there's not enough wall space for people, it's fine to be in an open chain situation. But watch out, because it could be like dominoes. There goes the neighborhood. Okay, now, it's One of the difficulties of online teaching and communication is you can't really share jokes. I mean, it only goes one way. You know, like I think I'm so hilarious, but you may be thinking like, oh God, why don't you just get on with the moves? Okay, so now here you are in it's one of our strange quadruped positions again. The sole of your heel, the sole of your foot, your heel is in line with the sitting bone. Now, set yourself up so your arms are perpendicular to the ground, palms wide and fingers spread. Do not shift laterally. Do not translate laterally. Instead, inhale to prepare, and as you exhale, rotate around your central axis, threading the needle, and your ear is listening to the ground, and come up from here. I used to say, have your ear listen to your thumb, but you've heard me say this phrase, the fact that you did what I said indicates that I did not say what I meant. Because when I watched people do the move and I said, your ear listens to your thumb, what I realized they were doing was some combination of rotation and side bending. And that's not what the intention is here. The intention is rotation around your central axis. I'll do that again since I interrupted myself. Inhale to prepare. As you exhale, no lateral translation, push the sole of your foot into the wall, and it's a rotation push up and plant your palm down. Now, lateral translation is necessary. If not, you will fall off the wall. So don't do that, even though you're home alone close to the ground. Inhale, shift your whole central axis towards your supporting side. You might get some greater ground force if you dorsiflex your foot and put the toes underneath. If that's not convenient for your knee, no problem, it's not required. Now the light from your chest bone is above your hand. As you exhale, rotate in the direction of the supporting side. Push the sole of your foot into the wall, and then as you exhale, it's a one-arm push-up. Now, other side. You know, it's always the new side. It's not really the other side. It's the new side because every side is always new. Now, there is no translation here. The ground forces are the palm of your hand, the opposite knee, and the foot into the wall. Use your ground forces. Inhale to prepare. Your ear listens to the ground. Now, a reminder that this is thoracic and cervical rotation. It's not rotation of the pelvis. So aim your ASIS of the lifted leg towards the supporting side knee. That's the connection. So you can keep your pelvis steady as your thorax rotates. Exhale, do a one-arm push-up. Get ready for your lateral translation. Inhale, shift towards the same side, hand and knee. As you exhale, push the sole of your foot into the wall. You're prepared for this. You've practiced your lateral translation and your rotation. Do a one-arm push-up and bring your hand down. Now, just to let you know, I have been obsessed with this movement of integrating the neuromyofascial sling systems, the myofascial sling systems, because of the requirements it makes for having integrity and honesty in terms of organization of the thorax and the pelvis. And because of the knee injury I had when I was 15, and I have different shaped legs and different sides. That's how come I know that it's always the new side. I had to find ways that wouldn't cause pain and that wouldn't cause further joint damage, but ways that I could tune up my whole body organization, because like you, I have a purpose on this earth, and in order to fulfill that purpose, I need an instrument. This is my physical instrument, like yours is too. This is our instrument of embodiment, and now more than ever, the world needs people like you who are dedicated to being embodied. Now, let's take this, I've had my crying intermission now. Let's take this into standing. We'll do a little bit of standing, summarize some things, and then be eager to answer your questions. So come to your wall, your mat on your wall again, and measure your distance from the wall. You'll have a 1 arm length, and then maybe a little bit more. Try it first before you get overly ambitious. Now, turning your palm upwards, bring your arm down. This hand is going to go onto the, she's stalling, I'm scared. This hand goes down onto the wall, and this hand comes onto the wall above your head. So, you may have heard people say, oh, I'm home alone on my mat, I'm in my apartment, I can't go out, I'm just going so crazy, I'm going to climb the walls. Well, here we are. This is our Spider Woman series. You too can join me in climbing the walls. So, as you inhale, it's the standing side leg kick. As you exhale, plantar flex your ankle, because plantar flexion facilitates hip extension. As you inhale, dorsiflex your foot, because dorsiflexion is paired with hip flexion. As you exhale, plantar flex your foot, because plantar flexion is paired with hip extension. Now, you might ask yourself, why this breath pattern? Here's why. The reason I'm doing inhale to come forward and exhale to come back is that the exhalation facilitates integration of the low ribs with the pelvis. And left to our own devices, many people, I know them, and I'm one of you, many people would pair hip extension with hyperextension at the thoracolumbar junction, and then there goes the neighborhood. That's not what we came for. Use exhalation to draw from pubic bone up underneath your chest bone so you can focus on hip extension. I'm telling you, I overstayed my welcome on that because I had a lot to say. Let's do the other side, and then we'll add on to this. We'll add on rotation and also plantar flexion or releve, because this can keep you busy for hours, not hours, a few minutes. Okay, measure your distance from the wall, 1 arm and a little bit more. Turn your palm up towards the ceiling and get ready, because here comes the new side. OMG. All right, so your pelvis does a cartwheel over the head of your femurs. Both elbows are straight, palms wide, fingers spread. Inhaling, it's hip flexion and dorsiflexion. Exhale, accompany plantar flexion and hip extension, turning your sternum and your gaze towards the ceiling. Inhale, rotate sternum and gaze towards the ground. As you exhale, turn thoracic, cervical, and rotation towards the ceiling. Inhale, hip flexion, dorsiflexion. Spread your arms, your hands further, and lift your heel up off the ground. So you're hovering off the ground in plantar flexion, turning towards the ground. As you exhale, grasp the wall with the pads of your fingers and thumbs so you can sustain your balance. Now, I want to hear from you. Tell me the truth, that in our Facebook chats, I want to hear from you. Did you fall off the wall? Could be. Let's just review that advanced version on the first side, and then we'll listen to your questions. Inhale to prepare. As you exhale, your pelvis cartwheels over the head of your femur. Now the ground forces, or the forces of your hands into the wall, are very significant. When you press the thumb side of your hand into the wall, that activates the anterior oblique sling system and the front functional myofascial continuities. When you press the little fingers into the wall, that activates the posterior oblique sling system, the posterior aspect of the arms, and also the back functional myofascial continuities. As you inhale, press your upper hand into the wall and turn your ceiling lung towards the floor. As you exhale, press your lower hand into the wall, and that will facilitate your floor lung turning heavenward. Inhale, push the upper hand into the wall, separate your hands, and hover your heel off the ground. As you exhale, push the floor hand into the wall, turning to see the ceiling above you. Alrighty then. In summary, we have addressed how the movements of the eyes can serve as a rejuvenation from your screen intensities. We've addressed how the neurological connections of the eyes and the suboccipital area can be used to facilitate ease of cervical rotation with the brain above the heart rather than forward of it. And then we've taken that mobility and organization of the cervical spine onto the mat to focus on lateral translation of the thorax, to prepare you for efficient strengthening of the upper thoracic area, which will help you in all aspects of your life. Then we've done some whole body strengthening exercises. First mobility of the thoracic spine in terms of rotation, and then your foot on the wall in quadruped, and then standing with your side to the wall. So this, I think, gives us a good start for our deep dive series of 4 sessions together. Let me remind you of your homework. Once an hour, close your eyes, resting your eyes in the back of your eye sockets. Noticing the deep, empty space behind your eyes. in your teaching, your online teaching or your classes, teach your students some of the movements of the eyes to rejuvenate their gaze. Then practice all the exercises that I taught, and if you'd like, post post a photo, or even more fun, a little video clip of you climbing the walls. Okay, let's hear your questions.
Can you post this exercises in the Facebook group?
Oh, can I post the exercises in the Facebook group? Well, no, the exercises are recorded here, and you will get these exercises in the recording, and you can listen to my semi-good jokes anytime you want. Yeah.
I'm not quite sure, Taru, what system are you using in the rotation when one leg is extended in quadruped position?
Oh, what sling system?
Yes, okay, there we go.
Yes, yes. Such a good question, Taru, about which myofascial sling system are you using? The honest answer, the true answer is all of them. Now, if I had to choose just one, if you give me a multiple choice exam and I had to choose just one sling system, I would go for the spiral myofascial continuity in the Tom Myers book from Anatomy Trains.
In the standing series, do you push the wall with your arms?
You betcha. You betcha. Now, that standing series was a preparation for another topic we will address in the future of biotensegrity, the balance of tension and compression in Pilates movement, in fascia-focused movement. And the reason that the arms press into the wall is that you need to push out to provide tension, and then the pressure on the wall feeds back through your neuromyofascial system with compression, and that facilitates your stability.
From Tyler Litton, I know it's normal to feel mildly nauseous when working new neurological connections, but do you have any tricks to overcome this besides breathing and regular practice?
Okay. Bless you for bringing this to our attention and our awareness. Our neurological system is so inextricably linked that movement of the eyes, movement of the vestibular system, movement of the tongue, they all are working in conjunction together. And when there's new material, the brain doesn't have a template for how to organize it, and it could be a flood of overwhelm. So it would be preferable to the usual story: 1, do less; 2, separate out the different actions. So rather than combining cervical rotation and eye crossing the midline, you could try both eyes closed. And if that makes you more nauseous, try a different situation. Each of these has to be uniquely tailored to each person's individual nervous system.
Will this video be posted? A lot to digest in an hour.
Yes, the marketing director of Balanced Body, Shannon, who probably took your registration for our first webinar, has said that it will be posted at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, that's where we are, on the next day. So I'm glad that you found it worthwhile, and perhaps that you will be looking forward to a recording to review.
So guys, a couple of things, since I know there's going to be a lot of questions about this. The Facebook page is Fascia in Motion.
Ah, yes, it
Yes.
is.
So again, it's going to be a Facebook group for Elizabeth and for you guys to share your experiences. So feel free to log on to that. And there's a question about what if you don't have Facebook? Well, sorry, that's our only method of communication at this point. So I don't know if Elizabeth wants to offer anything else, but that's the idea there. Let me carry on here for just a moment. Just a few of these. See if there's any more questions that we're going to answer.
Oh, Elena, hello, 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 hello. Please illustrate, where did Elena go? Could you please illustrate a little bit more of the role of the initiation in helping the connection between the lower ribs and the pelvis and the exhalation? Happy to do that. Yes, indeed. Elena, thank you for the question. And all the best to you and your colleagues in Italy. We miss you. We were supposed to be together in May at the British Fascia Symposium, but not this year. Now, place the thumbs on the ASIS and these are your thumbs, right? Place the thumbs on the lower ribs and the little fingers on the ASIS. There's a tendency for many of us on the inhalation, especially in hip extension, the inhalation for this distance to separate. It would be preferable to keep the sternum directly above the pubis. So these connections, all the many abdominal layer connections, stay together as you go back in hip extension. And the exhalation facilitates that, whereas the inhalation would encourage spine extension. Good point.
For the eyes exercises, should people who wear spectacles continue wearing them?
Oh, thank you for bringing that up. It would be preferable, if you feel secure doing so, to take your glasses off. Yes. And even in the Feldenkrais training that I did, I was wearing contacts at that time, and we were encouraged to take our contacts out during the eye exercises. Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. What is the name of the Facebook group? So I gave you that. I can't find the Facebook group. We will send this out to you, to everybody who's a participant in this. You'll get both the video and you'll also get a notice of the Facebook group. We'll post it also. So again, either the Bounce Body chat will do it. I'll probably do it on my post, Nora St. John. Also, I think Elizabeth will probably do it as well. So check your Facebook feeds and we'll find answers to that. Okay, I'm going to carry on here. Anything. If you have different eye strengths, should you work with glasses or just with the visual imbalance, please? I think we talked about that.
I think it's best to not wear your glasses, provided that you're safe at home on your mat. Mm-hmm. By now, you've figured it out that, look, I can teach movement and talk at the same time, but I am not of the generation where I'm good with technology and telling you what the name of a Facebook group is. I mean, I can tell you where the xiphoid process is, but don't ask me about a Facebook, but I'll find out. Mm-hmm.
So here's a request, maybe for another time, but can you give us some exercises for helping our voices via fascial connections and whole body movement? Virtual sessions take a lot more talking.
That is such a brilliant observation and question. Yes. And just to let you know that prior to my studio day and prior to meeting people online for online sessions, I do a series of vocal exercises of chanting, chanting up and down the chakras and chanting. So happy to share that with you. Such an important point.
Another one, in the climbing the wall exercise, are you holding the standing leg and pelvis in neutral?
Well, Let's see. Neutral in the sagittal plane, yes. Well said. Neutral in the sagittal plane, yes. This is it's a tilt of the pelvis over the head of the femur, and it's a tilt and also a lateral flexion. So it's neutral in terms of the sagittal plane. Yes, you got that right.
A couple of other questions here. Some people are asking for modifications on the kneeling. So what do you do if somebody can't kneel for those?
You could sit on a ball. That's a very good point in terms of kneeling. But you can sit on a ball, and then it would be rotation in this plane or I suppose you could do rotation in this plane as well. So give yourself a ball support. Yes. Yes, I appreciate that requires some creativity in order to get the benefits if it's not comfortable to put weight on your knee. Yeah.
And then from Lauren London, and I think this may be something for the Facebook group, can you please tell us more about the suboccipital fascia and whether it is connected to the hands, i.e. by pressing thumb more or pinky more, can we connect with the suboccipitals?
Well said. The pressure on the little finger side of the hand and the pressure on the thumb side of the hand, that is my understanding and my intention was to connect to the myofascial continuity of the arms, which is continuous with that of the thorax. So I was focused more on the hands to the arms to the shoulder girdle and the thoracic area rather than the suboccipital area. But it's a good point. I ought to look into that.
In the climbing the wall exercise, is it important that the standing leg remain absolutely parallel and turned in?
Well, what's more important is not to fall over. So if the spiral through your bones, through your tissues is such that you're more stable in a bit of external rotation, I'd vote for that. You can get extra stability by pressing the sole of your big toe. The sole, where is it? By pressing the sole of your big toe into the ground. And that will make a good connection with your adductors, with the deep front myofascial continuity.
What about concussion clients with the I series? Any tips or guidelines?
Thank you very much for bringing that up. When someone has had a traumatic brain injury from an automobile accident or a fall or a sports injury, it is best to refer them to a clinician who's skilled in that type of neurological trauma, and then let that skilled physician, an osteopath or a physiotherapist, a neurophysiotherapist, best to let them guide you in when it's appropriate to use the eyes to cross the midline. Thank you very much for making that point. Thank you.
What kind of clients would benefit most from these moves?
Let's see. The kind of client that would benefit most from these moves would be the client who has some fascination for connecting with their interoception, with connecting their interoception with their proprioception. I appreciate that these moves they require an attention for detail, and different nervous systems have a patience for this level of detail at various times and stages in their lives. Sometimes an injury which makes it not possible for us to do what we used to do. Sometimes that injury will lead to an opening of the door of this refinement of proprioception and interoception. When you choose the appropriate level of difficulty, you know, sequencing for success, when you choose the appropriate level of difficulty to get the client's attention, that's when you know you're in the sweet spot of education. You will have some clients who just want to get on with it. And so if it's not injurious, just have them do the standing side leg kick, which I called for today's time, you know, climbing the walls. Just have them do the side leg kick. And if they fall over, and they don't hurt themselves, of course, then all the better, because some people really love a challenge.
There's a couple of questions which bring us to a couple of questions about resources. One is, are the exercises demonstrated in your book, Fascia in Motion?
They are.
Yeah. And if so, could you reference pages, maybe at some point, but would be appreciated. So love your book. And that brings us to, there's a special offer for all of you who are in this webinar. Handspring is offering 15% off 3 books that Elizabeth recommends, and they're on our book stand in the back there. One is Elizabeth Larkam's Fascia in Motion. So one of you said, what is a good starting book? This is maybe not a starting book, but a good one to do. Freedom to Move from Josephine Key, and The Power and the Grace from Joanne Elphinston. If you want to get the 15% discount, here is your code. Write this down. We'll also post it on the Facebook group. It is BEHX, Bob, Ellen, Hamburger, I don't know what it goes with the X, 20 at handspringpublishing.com. So there's an opportunity for you to get those. And you have free shipping in the US and the UK until June 30th.
Good. A couple of other resources too. I always rely on the superb Balanced Body manuals and this Nora's Anatomy in Movement series, the Anatomy in 3 Dimensions, different volumes. I carry that. And also those of you who are fortunate to be Balanced Body Master Instructors, your movement principles manual is very relevant also.
So friends, it's time to go now. Thank you all so much for joining us. Again, the Facebook group is Fascia in Motion. It is a private group, so you'll be put in a queue to be invited, and we will invite you in. All right? And again, do your homework, and thank you so much, Elizabeth, for sharing this time. I can't tell you how wonderful it was. Yes, and thank you all for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you so much.
Bye. Here's some anti-stress spray.
Take it in, people. Take it in.
Oh, let me give the sign off.